Hey guys, alright, so you want to make message notes. The first thing is, especially if you are on a computer that hasn't done message notes, is you want to go to this website that is freefontsvault.com. You can also get to it by Googling download Gibson font. The Gibson font is what we've been using for a long time. It's just easy to read, very clean, looks very nice, super easy. I'll show you how to do this. Download the font. You click download font here. I'll save it to my desktop. Make it nice and easy. Put it down here. It went over here. Open the zip file. And you're going to open this folder right here. You'll double click each of these. You hit install font. It's going to give me this error because I already have Gibson downloaded and I am good. So you'll do that with each of those. And so I have all of the Gibson fonts downloaded right in here. So do that with each of them if you haven't already. And you are all set. You have Gibson downloaded on your computer and it's installed in macOS. So the first thing I do when I start making message notes is I will start a new presentation. I will name it whatever Sunday he's preaching, so I'll say 11/28/21. I'll make sure it's in media, in the media library, so it's not among with the songs. So I will go, so I made the file in ProPresenter. I'll hit reflow right up here. And then I will come to the pages document that he gives me. So I'll go and I'll select all the text. I'll come here and I'll select Gibson. That's the font that we want. I'll click the style as regular and I will make it 120 point, which is a standard size that we like on the screens. I'll also change the text color to white because the background for the screen is black, so we want it to show up, obviously. I'm going to hit Command C to copy all of it. I'm going to come back over to ProPresenter and then hit Command V to paste it all. I'll also go back and hit Command Z a bunch of times to make sure that I can read this. I like to look through his message notes, and a lot of these titles for the 4 points that he does, a lot of these titles get clicked through pretty quickly, and most of the time I just take them out. So I'll remove the unnecessary titles. So after I take those out, I'm going to go in between each of the points and the scriptures that he has, and I will go in between them and I'll hit insert slide break, and I will do it on each of them. I'm going to go to right click the first one and click edit slide, and then I'm going to format each of these correctly. So what we do usually when you import from a pages document like we just did, everything's going to be centered to the left, and so you're going to have to center everything, and then make sure that all the spacing is right. So I'll add a space in between the one and the beginning of the sentence, make it look a little cleaner. I also don't like to leave one word on a line, so I'll add a space after the A. Oftentimes when we import from a pages document, we will have this issue where it fills in white behind the lettering. It's because Pastor Rick imports his scriptures from another app. So it adds this background. So what we're going to do, we're not going to change the text color. You're going to select all of the scripture. You're going to go to this gear here, and then when it says text background, it's obviously going to be white right now. You're going to do this, which will give it no text background. I'm going to just select the scripture reference. I'm going to hit Command C to copy it. I'm going to get rid of it, and we put our scripture reference at the top. After that, every verse that we do, the scripture reference is going to be Gibson regular, and then the scripture itself is going to be Gibson light. This saves a little bit of room, makes it look a little more neat. And then so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to decrease the size of the scripture, maybe to 110, see how that looks. If I can fit it on the screen by playing with it and doing something like this, like increasing the size of the text box, which it doesn't look like I can. I'm a little bit short. Maybe I'll take it down. The least I would do is probably 100. 100 gets a little small, so if you know, but 100 is all right. You can work with 100. That looks pretty good. You know, I try to if you can only make scripture one slide. That's best practice, so that whoever's doing pro, you want as little button clicks as possible. Again, same thing with this point here. We're going to make it center it, and then add the space after 2 and in between there. Same thing here. So you're going to go like this. You're going to select all of the scripture, go to the gear, text background, select the none. I'll do that. I'm going to Command C, the scripture reference, put it at the top, and then make the scripture light. So it looks pretty good. Maybe again, the bottom foreigner has is at the bottom. I don't like to put one word on one line. It just doesn't look as good, so I'll expand it, and so that everything is looks pretty good. So you get the idea. With some of those, I'm going to go to a couple different instances where things would be different. So this is a pretty big scripture. We're probably going to have to split this into 2 slides. So the protocol with this is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with putting the scripture reference at the top. We're going to make this Gibson light. And I already know that this is definitely going to be too long of a scripture to put on one slide. So what I'm going to do is probably take half of it. I would say that's about half. I usually like to put the slide break where there's a period or a pause where the speaker is gonna stop, so that the speaker can slow down. The person on pro can kind of catch up and then give them the rest of the verse. So I selected what I wanted to put on the next slide. I hit Command C to copy it, and I'm going to clean up this first slide before I go to the next one. So you add 3 periods at the end of this scripture, and then you're going to go to the top here and this plus and hit Add New Slide. I'm going to edit it, and you're going to hit Command V to insert the rest of the scripture. I'm going to put 3 periods at the beginning here, telling the person on pro and also the speaker that there is a second half to this verse. And then I'm going to hit enter at the end of the verse, put 2 hyphens. So it's a large hyphen. I'm going to select the hyphen and go to text color and make it yellow. We only do this with verses that are more than one slide, because obviously if there's a period at the end of a verse and no ellipses, which is the 3 periods, they know to stop. But if there's 3 periods and ellipses, they know that there's something more, and this is when it tells them to stop. So that's how you do multiple slide verses. So another thing that is kind of different with points that aren't numbered, they're kind of catchphrases that Pastor Rick or Brian use, things like that that don't have numbers. What I like to do is I'll make them Gibson italic. This just kind of differentiates them from the numbered points. It makes them stand out a little more, and again, the spacing, and so just making it look neat, and everything that is a point or a phrase but doesn't have a number attached to it is Gibson regular. So if there's a memory verse in the message notes that you're making, this is how it's formatted. So you're going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to copy the verse reference, bring it to the top, and I'm going to put a pipe in it. So I'm going to hold Shift and the button just underneath delete where it has the /. So Shift and the button just below the delete button. Then I'm going to Command V, put the scripture reference on there. This seemed to be formatted to the left, so I'm just going to center it in the middle. I'm going to make this Gibson light since it's the scripture the actual scripture, and then maybe expand it so that or think isn't just at the bottom. Lastly, our next steps. So what I do with these, I'm going to center them, make it only 3 periods, so it's an ellipse. I'm going to do the top line. My next step today is to goes in regular italics, and then everything else is going to be light italic. Makes it stick out a little more. These fill-ins are check marks that they can put on their connection card, so that you hold Shift and the hyphen or the button to the left of the plus sign. I only do 2 of them, makes them a little smaller so you can fit more stuff in. He doesn't capitalize, so I like to put capital letters, so it looks a little nicer, a little easier to read. And I think that's about it. You run through everything on the rest of them, and what I'll also do is add a new slide up here, put it at the top, and I believe the name of this is How to Get a Spiritual Breakthrough. And this also, like any point that doesn't have numbers, gets italicized. So you go to Gibson italic. Other than that, you should be all set to go, and do the same thing, follow the same template for the rest of your slides. You're all set. Good job.